In this video, I'm going to break down the top 30 free agents for this summer and explain where I think they should sign for them and for the team. Starting us off at number 30 is Wayne Ellington, who is currently on the Heat. He has put up career high numbers and I don't see him leaving anytime soon. Coming in at number 29 is Aaron Baines, who's balled out with one of the best teams in the league this past season. I don't see any reason to him leaving the team in which he has had his only mentionable season in his career, unless somebody decides to give him a shit contract. At number 28 is Greg Monroe. He's a crafty back to the basket center with a proficient rebounding skills. He's subpar defender and jump shooter and can't guard faster wings or forwards. A team I'd love to see him play is either the Washington Wizards, who are in desperate need of a big man, or the San Antonio Spurs, who could utilize his strengths. At number 27 we have Luke Mbamute. He should just go back to the Rockets. I mean, let's be honest. Next up is a guy who's made major improvements this year, and that is Fred VanVleet. He has proven to be a possible starting caliber point guard and will be looking for big bucks after his recent performance. A team like the Knicks could give him this opportunity and the money. Elfrid Payton is next on this list. He's one of the more underrated players in the league despite his inefficiency and inconsistency, and all he needs is a team to give him a chance. Although he'd be a nice fit with the Nuggets, I presume he'll just stick with the Suns, who are weak at the one. Thaddeus Young, who's next on this list, is presumed to stay with the Pacers for $13.7 million. He's in a good situation where he can both win and get minutes as a starting role. At number 23 is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who trusted himself with a single-year $18 million deal with the Lakers. The Lakers are looking to strike big in free agency, so I could see him going to a team like the 76ers or the Thunder, who will possibly be looking for a 3-and-D2 guard. At number 22 is Brook Lopez, who's definitely slowed down this season compared to his post-up days back in Brooklyn. His rebounding has gotten even worse and he's still very slow, although he can definitely knock down the three ball at an efficient rate. My prediction is that he'll go back to the Nets and relive his glory days. He can mentor bigs Jared Allen and can even turn Jahlil Okafor around too. Also, D'Angelo Russell would have a solid big man to pass to instead of Mozgov. Barton, who's coming up at number 21. Although I'd like to see this offensive star sign a lower value contract with the Nuggets, it's safe to say he'll be looking for a starting spot and is leaning towards the Pacers, who could play him at the 3. Although he's been in the shadow of Gobert, Derek Favors is quite solid and looks to remain with the Jazz unless he gets a spectacular offer. At number 19 we have Rajon Rondo, who has fallen off greatly in the past few years after bouncing from team to team, but seemed to redeem himself late last season. He fits in well with the Pelicans system, therefore I think he'll stay. Next up is the Knicks big man Enes Kanter. He didn't fall off much when coming from the Thunder via trade for Carmelo, but he's getting less recognition on a rebuilding team. His contract is currently in a player option and worth $18 million, so I doubt he'll look to decline unless some sort of deal is struck. At number 17 is Jusuf Nurkic. He is at a breakout season after being traded from Denver and is almost definitely going to be looking for a big contract. After trading Gortat away because of some beef with him and John Wall, the Wizards will need a center, although they probably won't be able to afford him, which is why Dallas seems like the place to go for him because they already have a lot of young talent and he can get valuable minutes because of the lack of sufficient bigs, and they have the money to give him a possibly big long-term contract. Next up is Zach LaVine, who is the first real wild card. He suffered an ACL tear, thus excluding him for this last season. He will almost definitely be able to bounce back, and the Bulls realize this, but the amount of trust they're willing to put in him will decide everything. Other teams are showing immense interest in the shooting guard, and they're possibly willing to go all in for him. Although I'd like to make a bold prediction and say this one he's going to go to the Kings, I'm going to play it safe and say the Bulls are the logical choice. Trevor Ariza is lurking right in the middle here and could ask for some big money. He's proven to be one of the league's greatest 3-and-D players over the past 5 years and is a perfect role player on a championship team. If he knows what's best for him and his team, he'll sign a small, long-term contract with his fellow Rockets and try to chase a ring. At number 14 is Isaiah Thomas. His hip injury will prevent him from getting a lot of money, so it's assumed he'll just go where the money is. A team like the Pacers could take a risk on him. If he could just sign a short-term contract to prove he's worth big money, that would be beneficial even if it's risky. At 13, we have Tyreke Evans, who could really go anywhere. He's had a breakout season playing on the wing and is most likely going to want at least a fair-sized contract. If the Grizzlies don't rebuild, then they'd be smart to keep him, but if not, he could very well go to a team like the Lakers if they don't land Paul George or LeBron. Cavaliers are another option, but sticking with LA seems alright for now. At 12, we have Jabari Parker, who, if he could stay healthy, could be a borderline all-star. Sadly for him, injuries have taken over his career, but free agency could be a new start. He's a restricted free agent, so the Bucks will be able to match any of the offers given to him by any other team. He fits in well with the Bucks, but depending on if another team's willing to risk paying him bucks, he could leave. He's most likely going to stay in Milwaukee though, as I doubt any other teams will pay him more than the Bucks. At 11, we have Marcus Smart, another very underrated guard. His defensive tenaciousness makes up for his inefficiency on the offensive end, but he can always grow because he's far from reaching his peak. Unless Boston is able to clear out enough cap space for him, signing there is unlikely. He brings it all on the court, and although he loves Boston and Boston loves him, he could get way more well-deserved money and playing time elsewhere. It's hard to make out where he'll sign at this point, but in the meantime, Denver Nuggets just seems like the best choice for his future. Now breaking the top 10, we have Julius Randle, who's had an outstanding end of the regular season, averaging 19.5 points, 9.4 rebounds, 3.2 assists, half a steal, half a block, and shooting 55.5% from the field after the All-Star break. This could land him big money in which teams like the Mavericks or Nets could be interested in. Since both of those teams are in rebuild mode and the Lakers might want to spend the money elsewhere, he should sign with the Pacers. Their 4 spot isn't especially strong, especially if Thaddeus Young doesn't re-sign, and his lack of defense could be made up by Miles Turner. Avery Bradley has suffered injuries this past season, preventing him from playing sufficient minutes. Because of this, his value's gone down, but he's still the same player and is only 27. The perfect team for him would be the 76ers because they have the money to spare, and since Avery Bradley's more of a cutter than a ball handler, he'd mesh well with Embiid and Simmons. The real 2016 dunk contest champion is up next. Aaron Gordon has been the second best player in the Magic this past season and has put up career numbers. He'll be looking for big money and he's coming off his rookie contract. I believe the Magic will be able to give it to him, and I don't see him leaving to any other team except maybe the Pacers, who are showing slight interest. At 6 is Deandre Jordan. He's been a defensive monster and an all-star the past few years. He's already on a big contract, so whether he wants to sign somewhere for cheaper to get off the cursed LA Clippers is yet to be shown. But a team like the Milwaukee Bucks could really use his presence down low. Him going there would create one of the best starting fives in the NBA. Clint Capella had a monstrous 2017-2018 season. Many teams will be looking to get him, like the Dallas Mavericks and Los Angeles Lakers, but the Rockets have the ability to match anything he's given, and most likely they will. Chris Paul will land at number 5. It's yet to be seen if he'll take a pay cut or not, but it looks like he's staying in Houston unless something drastic changes his mind. A team he fits in really well though is the Pelicans, but that's unlikely. Alright Lakers fans, here's your guy, Paul George. At this point in time, conforming to say he's going to sign with the Lakers seems like the right idea, so I'ma just roll with that. He could take a pay cut and join the Rockets, but one thing is known for sure, he's not going back to Oklahoma. DeMarcus Cousins had a horrific injury that could possibly end his career in the last seconds of a game, and teams will definitely realize this. The best center in the league might not get his pay cut this free agency, as he may not even play. But if he trusts himself enough, he could sign a 1-year deal to prove he's still a superstar in this league. The team I've been wanting him to go for years is the Washington Wizards, because they need a center, and Boogie and John Wall played together in college, so the chemistry is already there. This could be more beneficial for him than joining the Pelicans, because then he doesn't have to share the scoring load as much as he was playing with Anthony Davis, and they seem to do better without him in the playoffs anyways. Next up is the Slithery Snake. It looks like he'll be rejoining the Warriors, but you really never know with the Snake, do you? Do you? No. And at numero uno, we have none other than LeBron James. People have been complaining that he doesn't have any help in Cleveland on the offensive end, but their defense is even worse. There have been rumors for him signing with just about every single team, including the Lakers, the Celtics, the 76ers, and even going as far as the Golden State Warriors. If I were him, I'd just sign with the Cavs. Nobody has even talked about this option. If he could just sign a smaller contract, then they'd have more money to rebuild. And maybe that's why he declined his player option, so that they'd have more money to rebuild around him. Or obviously maybe he's leaving, who knows. But they could just sign a guy like JJ Redick or Avery Bradley, or they could go even bigger and go for Paul George. They just acquired Colin Sexton through the draft, who could be a valuable asset, and if they just trade away some contracts and a few more guys, and sign a few more guys, this team is already much better. So that's it for this free agency. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but thank you all for watching. Peace.